Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for us to get into the newspapers and find out what they have to say. And joining me this morning, Benjamin Kofi Kwashi. He is Council of Elders Chair with NDC South Africa. He joins us for the news review. But right before I bring him in, well, you've seen him already. A very good morning to you, sir.
You.
I am okay.
Good morning to you and to our cherished viewers as well.
Right, interesting dash of pink there. With the dress you're wearing.
Thank
but
you.
This segment always brought to us by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Now here's what they're offering you. If you're a man, prostate screening. If you're a woman, fertility screening for free. All you have to do is make tracks to them at any of their branches dotted across the country. Here in Accra at Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi, Kronowabwehia behind the Angel Educational Complex. There's Takrade Anaji Estates, there's Techiman Hanswa, and there's Siama and Zima. On what lines can you reach them if you prefer to call, which I should suggest you do? The numbers are 0244-867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. And just to kickstart the conversation, well, welcome aboard, Mr. Kwashi. And how is South Africa?
Very well. As usual, I always say that they are trying their best, much better than we are doing here. COVID hit all of us, especially them. It hit them so hard. But the government is doing what it has to do. It's not easy anywhere, but they are doing better than we are.
They are doing better than we are.
Yes.
Since you're, how long ago were you in South Africa?
I think I've been here for 2 weeks now. So 2 weeks back I was in.
So 2 weeks back you were in South Africa.
Yeah.
We know they have their own political crisis on their hands.
Yeah.
You know, the transition from apartheid rule to the ANC, Nelson Mandela, all the way now to Cyril Ramaphosa. And there have been different dynamics about the failure of the ANC and how it's creating inroads for other parties.
Yes.
There's Malema, Julius Malema, and what he's been doing. Power outages and all of that. Some people would say, looking at some of these problems they're facing, including xenophobic tendencies that they've exhibited over the years, over the last few years, do you still rate them above? What are you basing this on? Just the economy?
No, not only the economy. Like you said, for about 2-3 years now, the xenophobic attacks have not happened. I believe that it's because of the call by the EFF that is led by Julius Malema. They have said that we should be one as Africans, not to divide ourselves. So I think that has helped. The economy, load shedding, like you said, is a very big problem there. But gradually, they are getting out of it. And I think that in no time, things will be well with them.
Anyway, let's come back to Ghana. Let's come home and get into our own affairs. We're about to get into our own local affairs. The Daily Graphic, Daily Guide, the Custodian newspapers. Those are the papers I'm going to be looking at. Which ones are you looking at?
I have the Finder and then the Ghanaian Publisher.
All right. So let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Government increases cocoa prices back up from 800 Ghana cedis to 1,308 Ghana cedis a ton, now going for 20,943 Ghana cedis, up from 12,800 Ghana cedis. That's an increment of about 63.5%. So the details. The government has increased the price at which it buys a bag of cocoa from 800 Ghana cedis per 64 kilogram bag to 1,308 Ghana cedis. Now, the 63.5% increment also translates to 20,943 Ghana cedis per ton of raw cocoa beans, up from 12,800 Ghana cedis per ton. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who announced the new price at the Durbar of Chiefs and Cocoa Farmers at Tepa in the Ashanti region at the weekend, said the new price, quote, is the highest to be paid to cocoa farmers across West Africa in over 50 years. But we're going to be getting into the details of that later on the show because there has been some contestation from some bodies, including the farmers themselves, about the veracity of this fact. But it also remains that it is quite an increment. It is important. Of course, some people have made mention of inflation, for example. So if you factor in inflation, what does this really mean? But for you, what do you make of this story? It's a big positive, isn't it?
Very positive. We have always said and maintained that our farmers need to be taken care of and very good at that. So from an increase of 12,800 to 20,943. It's a big leap. That is almost about 63.5% increase.
It actually is 63.5%.
63.5. So I think we should pat the government in the back. But again, like you said, we should look at the figures very well. Inflation coming in, other factors as well. Farmers have complained over time, over the years. And I hope that this should be a time that our farmers will not be taken for granted, a time that I believe that whatever the government has initiated, it's able to sustain it. When our farmers are happy, the country grows because they do whatever they have to do to ensure that our export of cocoa goes very high. And I hear it's the highest in the West African sub-region. So we'll pat the government in the back and say that these are things that we have to continue to do to help the Ghanaian economy grow.
And even making mention of that, I mean, we all salute government for this initiative. Definitely a positive.
Yeah.
You cannot overlook the fact that farmers are part of our agricultural backbone. And so if this is happening, it's a very positive step.
Yeah.
But there are also other dynamics to do with it. The smuggling, for example.
Yeah.
And the claim is that it's usually not the farmers themselves. It's the middlemen, those who are not even part of
the process, yes.
Who end up smuggling the commodity. Even as we do this, how do we stem the tide, do you think?
I think we need to tighten those loose ends and ensure that, like you said, the farmers are producing, and government should be able to come up with a facility that helps them market their product, and let's see how best we can do away with the middlemen, so that whatever we do would be towards the economic freedom of farmers, and also to help grow our economy as a country. I believe that this is one of the most foreign exchange that we get as a country from cocoa as well. And if we are able to plug these loopholes, I'm sure that we'll make the maximum benefits out of it for the growth of our economy.
Even as we talk about these matters, sometimes when it comes to the mainstays that we are known for as a country, it breaks my heart, because then you contemplate, why is Belgium, Brussels, the chocolate capital of the world? Why not Ghana or the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, so to speak? Why is it that the Netherlands exports the most, if I'm not mistaken, cocoa powder? Do you get it? So there are still many avenues where we can do better when it comes to the entire value chain of the cocoa cash crop. But let's look at other stories. Ghana pumps JSE first oil will boost revenue and the economy. For me, I've sort of given up on oil revenue doing much for our country on the back of what I've seen since 2010 till now, NDC, NPP, and especially now with all the assets we have when it comes to black gold. I'm talking of oil and the economic situation we find ourselves in. I don't know. But then there's also, I'll just lump a few stories together and then you can react. So the oil story is one. In fact, let me go to it on page 16. And President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has turned on the valve at the offshore Jubilee field to signify the production of additional oil from a new well, the Jubilee Southeast project. But like I said, how many haven't we seen in this country? What have been the results? And what have we done with the oil money? What can we say that, Ghana, for this is your oil money and this is what we've achieved on the back of that? Scarce. Very little to show. That's why I'm not so enthusiastic about this. Because in other jurisdictions, you go to Norway and they have a fund that has been there since the 90s, just salting away money, oil revenue for future generations. Here, we're even indebted when it comes to, our economy. Then there's explosion rocks Shama, another matter we're getting into this morning on the show. So 4 dead, 5 dead as confirmed now, and managing director, others missing. So an explosion at the SDA Atsum Quarry mine, formerly Ominai Quarry in the Shama district in the western region, has killed, according to the story, 4 persons and left many injured. Many night workers, believed to be Chinese and Ghanaians, were burnt beyond recognition, while others, including the managing director of the company, are still missing. Now, those who survived were rushed to the various hospitals in the district and secondly a fuel station, and the only health post in the area were not spared, as the blast caused extensive damage to countless structures and compromised the structural integrity of many buildings. Very sad situation there. We'll be heading to the western region today to get the scoop on that. But I'll just say this, Ben. I'm hoping that the director and the others that we cannot find, I am hoping they've not absconded. Because sometimes you have issues like this crop up and then leadership,
it's nowhere to be found.
that is one of the worst things you can do as a leader.
Yeah,
And if that's what they've done, I feel some action should be taken. But your reaction to this explosion and then more oil for Ghana, but will it lead to a better life for Ghanaians?
Let me start on the issue of the oil and say that I share in your frustration, like you say, and I believe that most Ghanaians also share in that frustration, because over the years we have seen the mismanagement of our economy, and you ask yourself that what has happened to the oil revenues that we generate. But I think we should not always just push it over and say that we are tired. I think we should continue to remind government that these resources that we have are for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. These resources are supposed to be there for generations yet unborn. So if there's a government that is reckless, we've seen the NPP administration being so reckless. They have had most revenues from this oil revenues over the years than any other government, especially the NDC during the time of which oil was discovered in this country. But one thing that we should know is that we can't continue on this trajectory. It's one that is so demeaning on our person as a country. Government should realize that whatever we are making revenue from this oil production should be geared towards the development of the country. We should stop this thing of mismanaging the economy and expect Ghanaians to clap for us when such discoveries are made. In other jurisdictions, when such discoveries are made, people become very happy. But unfortunately, in our side of the world, and especially in Ghana, we are not happy with it because of the mismanagement by the Nana Addo Bawumia administration. On the issue of the explosion, I think before then, let me extend my condolences to the families of the bereaved ones that we've had. We had 5 so far. On my way here, I heard that it is likely that the owner was also part of the explosion that happened. They said he was there, so they can't find him as well. So I don't think that he has absconded, if that the story we are hearing is true.
No, well, the talk was about the director and some others. And I'm saying that if there were others there and whatever happened, or they were not even in the vicinity, and because they've heard what has happened, they've absconded, that would be, if that is the case.
No, but and then the minister is saying that it looks like they were not properly registered. So these are some of the things.
There are lots of issues in there.
Yes, these are some of the things that I ask myself, where did we go wrong? As the institutions are not working, they are there. And I'm sure that this should be a wake-up call. People must be held responsible. People that were supposed to do their work and have not done it. I think sometimes we need to crack the whip and ensure that...
Not sometimes, all the time.
All the
because
time.
Look at the explosions we used to see some years back. I remember I was around the University of Ghana campus. I was actually on campus, I think around Pentagon, when that one, the atomic one, happened. And it was crazy. All the way, you could feel, feel what had happened. Buildings shook and all of that. So, I don't know. And then we had the recent one that we saw. The name just skips me, where there was that other explosion.
In the Western
mining
one. The mining one, yes.
I don't know why it escapes me. I'll try to get it. Apiate.
Yes.
So we've had a series of these, and each time you have people losing their lives, people getting injured. Look at Apiate. The whole community was razed to the ground.
And we spoke about it for a month, a week, some weeks, and then it's gone. And this has also happened. I think that sometimes we should, like you said, always we need to ensure that the laws are respected. And I believe that if we are able to do this, some lives like this that are lost, unfortunately, we would be able to save them.
Back page of the Daily Graphic. I'll not get into the stories. I'll just give you the headlines. Catholic University partner presents 60 beds to 5 health facilities. And a story by my friend Della Russell Oklu. We call her class prefect. Motorway Tunnel Highway Authorities starts stolen bolts replacement. And that's interesting. So to prevent the Accra motorway from collapsing, following the theft of about 1,400 of the 2,000 bolts holding the bridge to the motorway concrete. Out of the 2,000, 1,400 have been stolen. Ghana and Kasa. Anyway, let's check out the papers.
It's so funny. It's so funny because
and this thing, if it collapses, it will kill
people,
ordinary people. But the question is, how is it even possible to expose it like that so that people are stealing up to the point where 1,400
out of 2,000 something?
That's about three-fourths.
Three-fourths of it is gone. So who didn't do their work well? Anyway, I have the Ghanaian publisher here. It says, the first one says, on the front page, Winneba set for ECOWAS Parliament, Afenyo Markin. The story is on page 3. It also speaks about farmers rejoice over historic cocoa price. And then
on the farmers bit, I saw someone send a message saying, Bernard Bleu says, the farmers are not happy with the price. They're asking for 3,000 Ghana cedis. Well, a case of Oliver Twist, but in this instance, we must commend government. They've done something good. I mean, if you were receiving 800 and something, and now you're receiving 1,308, I'm not saying it's the optimal. I'm not saying it's the best possible scenario, but half a loaf is better than nothing at all.
But again, like you said,
saying they want 3,000.
If you delve into it properly, we would get to hear from the farmers, and they might also give us some indications that will show that the 3,000 they are demanding might be right anyway.
Is realistic.
Remember that we say we don't have money as a country, so we'll give them some and then we'll keep some. So Winneba set for ECOWAS Parliament. It says that the Member of Parliament for Efutu, Alexander Afenyo Markin, who serves as leader of government's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, says Winneba is ready to host the extraordinary meeting of ECOWAS Parliament. I think this is a plus for us as a country and a plus for Winneba. It's to showcase our country's democratic credentials, and I think that such events and such opportunities, we need to continue to use it to market our country and let others see how we are doing well when it comes to our democracy. The Finder newspaper. Customs investigates 2 shipping lines, agent for suspected falsified trade documents. And the story is on page 4, and it says the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is investigating 2 shipping companies and agents who connived to falsify information on trade documents to pay lesser duties and taxes to the government. I think we have known this for quite some time now. I remember when His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills of blessed memory stormed a customs yard in Tema and said that, look, he had come because he realized that most of the frauds that were happening at the port, and you and I know, we've heard the story several times.
Right. So
people go ahead, do things that the government is not able to get what it's supposed to get from this ports authority. I think that it's a story that we need to look at, and it's an issue that as a country we continue to speak about it and ensure. I believe that when we are able to move from the paper system and get things all in the technological way, things will get better. I think these are okay, so it says NADMO alerts of torrential rains in the northern region in September. It's happened again. Every year we keep on saying this.
So we're heading into the second
one
belt of the rainy season, which is shorter, but much more devastating.
Yes.
It comes with heavier rain. And if what we saw in the first one is anything to go by, then we really we must really brace ourselves for what is to come.
And I think over the years we should have come up with practical solutions to help our brothers and sisters in the north. I think that these are things that we need to look into, so that we can help our people, especially those in the. And remember, most of them are farmers, and they are the ones that keep us going. They are the ones that give the middle bed food and all of that. So it's something that we all need to look at as a nation.
Let's get into some other stories. So you're done with the 2 story papers, right?
Yeah.
All right. So in the next few minutes, we'll be wrapping up for sports to come in. Daily Guide, farmers jubilate over 1,308 Ghana cedis, CD cocoa price. Abu Zain receives double doctorate awards. Explosion kills 4 in Shamar district. Akufo-Addo opens ECOWAS Parliament. But the story I'm going to be focusing on with you, I'll give Mahama a showdown. Bawumia says so. In fact, this is something that on Joy News, on Facebook, we've actually put it up there. I'm going to pick up some responses that I've seen there. But what do you make of that? First, it was Kennedy Japong, whom we heard saying he would give President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia a showdown. Yeah. Now, the Vice President says he's going to give Mahama a showdown, seemingly saying, you know what, everyone knows I'm going to be the candidate for the MPP, though we've not gone to that contest yet. And when it gets there, people don't want to see me there because they know I'm the one who will give the NDC and Mahama a showdown.
I think it's time we all call out the vice president and let him know that Ghanaians are now wide awake. Ghanaians are now discerning. Look, I watched that video several times, and you see those days when the vice president makes such comments, people laugh and people, make mockery of others. But did you see the demeanor of the people that were sitting there when he passed that comment? I think he made a joke and he just laughed about it himself. People were not so enthused about it. What is a showdown? If the vice president knows what a showdown is, he should get to work and fix the economy. He should get to work and answer the 170 questions he gave the late Pakwesi Amita, our former vice president. The vice president is a monumental failure. Do we need any more school of thought to tell us this? Ghanaians have realized, what haven't he said? What haven't the vice president said in opposition? You see, the vice president came up with textbook theories as to how to solve economic situations. When reality set in and he got to the Jubilee House, he has become a monumental failure. Now he doesn't hold lectures. He doesn't talk about the economy. Governance is a very serious business. And I think that as a people, we should take
technology and innovation, digitization and digitalization are also crucial parts of the economy.
Very crucial parts. But how has it been implemented? He always talks about it. You see, one thing about this administration is that I think we've given them too much leeway for them to take us for granted. Look at the problem on the Tema Motorway when I was just driving down. There is a minister for roads and highways. We went on that road and said that Ghanaians don't understand. If you don't understand what construction of roads is about, shut up. The minister said this to us as a people. Today, what is the mess? Aren't people dying on that road? I think Bawumia's behavior needs to be put in check now. Everybody will have to call him out and tell him that he should stop the theatrics. He should just get to work and get things solved for us as a country.
All right. Let's get ready to wrap up. So just on Facebook, the responses that some of you have been sharing as we posted this. So Yakubu says he should rather show down the economy. What a solid team. Then there's this one, Abrewa Bubwa, she says, that's the fact. If he goes, he will give the NDC a showdown. Ebenezer says that's the gospel truth. Dr. Bawumia always gives the NDC nightmares. This one, Yakubu says, if the elections are free and fair, that can never happen, that he will give the NDC a showdown. Then Samuel Danso says, you think we're fools, right? Addressing what the vice president has said, and in your dreams, that's what he says. David Tete says, keep dreaming. If you have something better to offer Ghana, we would have seen it by now. Then there's Joseph Ohene Day, who has the vice president as his display picture. And he says, I perfectly agree, and I feel he's going to give them a showdown. Let's just look at a few more. So quite a number of you have been reacting. This one says, 100% showdown. Bawumia remains the Ghanaian favorite. And then Kwame Yabo also says, in fact, DMB will beat Mahama hands down. So it's a mixed bag of comments here. There are those who are obviously in favor of that, and others who are saying there's no way, if elections are free and fair, this can happen. Anyway.
The showdown should be against the economy. The showdown should be him doing things that he promised Ghanaians that he was going to get done, that he has not gotten done. And I think that, like the comments have indicated, Ghanaians are not happy. I don't see President Mahama losing an election against Bawumia. It will never happen. President Mahama is the people's choice. President Mahama is a tried.
How can you be so sure? Politics is politics.
No.
Did you suspect that Alan Trebating would perform the way he did in the Super Delegates Conference, and that he would out of? I mean, he has said that he felt the process was compromised and all of that. There was intimidation. For him to step aside, did you see that coming?
No, I didn't see that coming, but it is a tradition with the MPP not to give the aspirant fair playing grounds. And as principled as Alan Tremantin was, he resigned based on the principles. If you say that those were allegations, they were not mere allegations. The pictures are there for us all to see. And it is not only...
The NPP has a tail of the tape, the constitution.
Yeah.
There are things that you're supposed to do. They went by the book. They did everything. If you talk of things that were done behind the scenes, whether people were compromised, that's a different thing. But in terms of the elections, apart from 3 areas where there were major issues. The rest of them,
that's the
process.
That's their party's constitution. You remember Boachi Ejaku has indicated that they were supposed to go and vote for the 4th and 5th position. The party took a decision. Was that what is in their constitution? No. They deviated. They said they were making things easier for everybody.
But of course, always with processes, you can decide among candidates what the way forward is. But time will tell how
Time
things
will
go. The Custodian newspaper says, Coca gave me a run for my money. That's according to Wuntumi. Will not let you down. YEA beneficiaries assure government. NDC misled public on 2020 polls. Professor Kwesa White tasks leaders to admit their failures. And of course, there's Winneba host ECOWAS Parliament. Right before we go, though, so we've looked at the cocoa situation, the IGP, and everything, the leaked tape. And now Tuesday we hear he's going to be before the parliamentary committee. What do you make of that? Right before we go,
I think the sitting is so clear, and for me, I'm disappointed in some of the comments that have been made by COP. That what's his name? COP is it Mensah?
Alex Mensah.
Alex Mensah. I think some of the comments are just not something that you'd expect to be said by a senior policeman of the state.
But does it not paint the reality of what is
So that is
in the Ghana Police Service?
That is pure bitterness. That is somebody that is bitter. When he speaks, you don't see somebody that is speaking about reforms of anything that can happen in the police service. He's just a bitter soul. And if we have such people as police officers, I think as a country we need to be very careful. And I believe that the committee that has been instituted by Parliament, the hearings are in public. We are all listening to them. We are watching them. And I'm sure that the Ghanaian people will make a firm determination after the hearings are done. The IGP, I'm told, will be there, and we'll listen to a side of the story. But whatever it is, COP Mensah has not shown leadership, and I think that is a worrying thing for our country and for our institutions, especially to do with the police service that we have always believed that should be there for the people. You don't politicize an institution like the police service, but if that is what is happening as a people, we should be very worried about it.
Some interesting comments coming in. Some of you are using terms, but you say it's high time, Dr. Bawumia, you used a different name for him there, stopped his comic relief and bowed his head in shame for the mess under his watch. You're talking of the economy. And Andy Brown says, why is Mahama your benchmark? So if you say Mahama is competent, he has sadly become your benchmark, then have you already failed? Okay, that's another message to the vice president. And there was a message. Don says, Ben, stop celebrating mediocrity. This government is chopping more than the farmers. You can make different strands of argument, but the point simply is, what if they had also not increased it? That is also an option. So at least if they've done something, you pat them on the back. But like I rightly said, it's not where it could be. Any final words as we go?
Ben, I think I'll just take a minute.
Just briefly, 20 seconds. We have to go.
20 seconds about the limited registration by the Electoral Commission. I am here to just reiterate what our leader, President Mahama, has said, that we should stop all other activities and ensure that we all go and register if we've not registered yet. But again, I want the EC to use the benchmark that they used when they set any elections that they are holding. If there is an injunction, they respect the injunction. There's an injunction towards the process, and I'm watching to see what they are going to do if they have different sets of rules for every other institution. Thank you. Benjamin
Kofi Kwashi is Chair, Council of Elders, NDC South Africa. He joined us for a conversation, the news review this morning. Happy birthday to you, Princess Umul Hatia. You are 45 today, and 45 looks so beautiful on you. Happy birthday, and God richly bless you. So I'm told we could have a few more minutes just to conclude the conversation properly. Apart from what we've seen with the IGP and the Shama incident and everything else that is happening on the political terrain, I'll just briefly go back to inter-party politics, NDC, NPP. We've noticed that, usually around this time, tensions start to simmer. The vigilante bit In fact, the special paper I presented recently has to do with that, vigilantism in Ghana. From where you sit, is this still a problem that we have? Is it something that has folded up on the back of the Vigilante and Related Offences Act? Or is it something that we should keep our eye on heading into election 2024?
I think after the passage of the act, all the political parties are part to ensuring that we don't let vigilantism take over what our security services are supposed to do.
What is the reality on the ground?
I think that the parties, because of late, we've not heard of any such incidences like we used to hear before. It might not have been completely stopped, but I believe that once the Act has indicated the processes that needs to be established, and I think that it brings in the issue about what COP Mensa has been saying at the commission. You want to believe that an institution like the police service is a human institution, and these things are supposed to happen. But you see, the way with which we have now come to know what actually is happening there, it's threatening to us as a people. And I think that if we don't stop this and we say NDC, MPP, this is what they do always, at the end of the day, we are not helping build such institutions. And these things will come back to bite us as a people. We need to be very careful about it. And this is one of the things that would help stop the parties from coming up with vigilantes, because at the end of the day, every party would believe in the police service and say, we believe that they will be professionals because they are trained to help and be there for everybody. If we are...
Now we hear some people saying, this IGP on the back of the by-election, in Asin North, we don't want this person because he may not play to our end. That's basically what COP Alex Mensa was saying. And he even says that, look, let's not pretend we are not partisan in the police service. We are. There's NDC, there's MPP, but then that creates, that sows the seed of chaos, likely chaos.
I don't see COP Mensa as a police officer. He's a politician.
But he admitted that he was a politician. And he even says, you remember, there have been some people too who left the police service, and within weeks they were contesting.
They left
for another party.
They left.
No, but the point he makes is that you have to have been a card-bearing member for some years before you can contest.
Absolutely.
At that level.
But at the point that they were police officers, what were the comments that they were passing? Did they pass comments as COP Mensa has been passing lately? It's neither here or there. Whatever it is, I think he should put down the uniform, go to the commission in his party-cladded dresses, because we know him to be a politician, not a police officer.
Okay, and that will be the final bit. Thank you, Ben, for joining the conversation. This segment, as always, brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. We're offering free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Here's where you can locate us. Here in Accra, Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi Kronoma Boy here behind the Angel Educational Complex, Takrady Anaji State, Tema Community 22, Techiman Hanswell and Siaman Zima. Our call lines 0244-867-068 or 0274-234-321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Bringing us to the end of the news review, but just the start of sports. Up next, do stay.